The following is a conversation with my dear friend Lukasz Szukala. Lukasz is a former player of the Polish national team and played for clubs such as Steaua Bucharest, Al Ittihad Jeddah, Metz, 1860 München, and Ankara Gücü. Currently, Lukasz is a very successful entrepreneur and investor in several businesses. Welcome to the Director of Football Show. I am your host, Vitas Malas, and now, dear friends, here is Lukasz Szukala. Okay, wir sprechen normalerweise im Deutsch miteinander, aber wir machen es halt
No, English, it's no problem. Don't worry.
auf Englisch jetzt für die Leute. Lukasz, I always told you when you were still playing, you would be the perfect director of football. You speak 6 languages, maybe even more. You always understood business. You always had, like business ideas in your mind. You understand the art of the deal. So you tell me, who is Lukasz Szukala, and tell us about your journey as a player and currently as a successful businessman.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for the nice words. We can stop here. So it was really nice. Thank you very much for that. Beside that, it's my first podcast with you. So I'm glad I'm doing
You're
this with you
welcome.
first time in my life. And also, I feel very happy to do it with you. Like I said, yeah, thank you very much for the nice kind words. It's not 6 language, it's 5 languages. I just try
Wow.
to learn another one. I would love to learn Spanish or Italian, but because of football, I was lucky to learn several languages because I was playing in different countries like Romania, Germany, France, Poland, Turkey, Arabia. In this moment, my journey is pretty easy with my family most of the time. I have a project here in Bucharest with some friends. We're gonna open a bar dinner concept, which is gonna be ready in 4 or 5 months probably. So this year.
I
And
hope I will
beside
receive
that,
an
I took a
invitation.
longer break. Of course, yeah, I told you already, so don't ask again. You have 1+1.
1+1.
You're on
Okay.
the guest list.
I
One plus
will.
one. Yes, like usual. Yes, and then I took a longer break from football. Honestly, I stopped my career in 2019. I was playing in Ankara Gücü. This was my last team, which is now in the Super League. There was my last station as a active football player. Uh, I was not thinking to stop that quick, but then my wife get pregnant. The COVID time came, so for me, all these things make me stop earlier than I was thinking before. And I put in my head like to take a break from football couple years. From 2019, I was out of football. I have friends, of course, which are involved in football, but I was not following the games. I was not watching football so much. Just maybe finals, World Cup, or semifinals, or Champions League finals. Yeah, and I took other business in hand, trying to do some restaurants, fashion store. Also in the real estate market, I start to do something with apartments, Airbnb, this kind of stuff. And this year I have this bigger project with my friends, a bar dinner, and I'm apply also for a program which is proposing UEFA. It's a MIP program. It's a master for international players, where you can make a master in 2 years about management, how is the football industry, how you have to be as a sport director, how have you be as a scout, which way is good for you, because you can discover your skills. You can also discover new skills. So it's a really good program to have like an idea what you want to do after your active time as a football player.
So, from what I understood, the program is offered by the UEFA, The name of the program is From Players to Leaders. As you mentioned before, it's a UEFA Executive Master degree. But what I also understood is they don't accept everyone. And from what I understood is that the people that did the first edition before were quite high profile ex players, which are currently working in the football industry as well. Is that something you want to take on as well in the future to basically, well, become part again of a football club in an executive role?
I want to use this program. Yes, it's a high profile program, really high profile program. And I spoke with also colleagues, which I played in Turkey and in Germany. For example, there's Pierre Webo, which finished just the MIP program. He is the second coach of Başakşehir right now. And he's also involved in the Federation of Football of Cameroon. I have another friend, Vlad Munteanu, which is sport director of the Federation of Romania, who will finish the program this year. Uh, it's a program which helps people that are already in the football business to improve their skills, to improve the network, to get more confidence and get motivated in their position they are. But it's also a guide for players which play a certain level, because you cannot get there easily. You have to have games in the national team, or you have to play in the high leagues. You have to play Champions League or Europa League. It's a mix from very very known players, but also players from futsal and from women football. So it's a mix. And you have to make an interview, you have to make an application, and there are like couple ways to get accepted. I just did it. I had my interview last this week. I put my application, so I will get my answer end of the month. I really hope I will get to to this program, because I think it's a very important thing for a player which start and which stop his active career to be guided a little bit in which direction he wants to go. I feel like I have the possibility to work or in the federation or in the football club or maybe in the academy. It doesn't matter, but I need the confidence that I think this program will give me, and also the knowledge which you learn there. So because you cannot just become from a active football player just easy like a sport director. You need some programs, you need helps, you need school. The same thing is with coaches. When you stop as a football player, that doesn't mean if you was a good football player, you're a good coach. You have to make the license from CBA until the pro license. So it's a way until you can really train a professional football team. So for sport director, I think it should be the same, because it's a very important position, and you need to get prepared for that. And this program is a really good option for players that was on a high level to get back in football. You know.
You are definitely the director of football. In my humble opinion, it's a matter of time. I know for a fact that some people spoke about you in that position as well, and they see you there definitely in the near future. So my question is you dealt with a lot of sporting directors. What defines a good director of football?
Again, thank you very much for the kind words. uh, uh, it's for me. It's I think the position of sport director, it's a really important position, because uh, you have to be a leader without being on the field, which is pretty hard. You know, as a player, you can be a leader easily in the change room, but then you can show on the pitch, and everybody will follow you. You know, you can really put the thing you say in the change room on the pitch, so the players will follow you. If you're a guy who lead in the change room, and then you're on the field the first in every exercise, and you pushing, so everybody will follow you. As a sport director, you don't have this option. You have to be You have to be perfect in the change room. You have to discuss with the player in the perfect way, because you cannot go back on the pitch, and the player needs to have the confidence just from speaking. So it's a really hard job to transmit this to the player on the field. You have to have a good instinct. I think you have to know, you have to have a big experience as a player, my opinion, because coming outside of football and being a good sport director, it's pretty hard, my opinion, because of course it happened as well. There are some sport directors which are not playing high level of football and made a great career, but in general I think a football player which knows exactly what happened in the change room, knows exactly how a player thinks, know exactly what kind of problems can happen in the change room and on the field, it's much more valuable than a guy which has no experience in this kind of thing. So it's a lot about instinct, I think. You have to speak a lot with players, my opinion. There are a lot of sport directors that I don't they're not looking so much contact to the players, because they think it's the work of the coach and the staff. I think the sport director has to be much
Hmm.
more involved, speaking with the players, be like a friend, like a psycholog, like almost like an assistant coach, to make the players feel well, and to how you say, to get the best from the player on the pitch.
So, who is then a director of football you admire during your career, and potentially could be a good candidate for my next podcast? Could you mention someone that you say like, "Wow, Vitas, this guy was something else. He supported me a lot in my career. He helped me a lot. When he walked into the club, you could see this guy is running the show."
uh, right now, actually I could propose you somebody which I admire a lot as a player as well, uh, the same way like he's now a sport director, but I had not the pleasure to play with him or getting in contact with him. For me, right now, I think Paolo Maldini is
Ah.
really like an example, a really example of being a sport director. Of course, the career which he has in the back, it's amazing. But I think I read yesterday the news. I think he quit from AC Milan this season. I think he will not continue in AC Milano. So, but anyway, it doesn't matter. He's not a great sport director. I think what he did with Milan, they won the title. They came to semi-final. They were a little bit unlucky. They could reach the final. So I think, and it looks like from outside. And I have also a good friend there who is playing in AC Milan, Tatarosanu, which I play in Steaua, and he had this quality to create this great atmosphere, and you can tell that. You can really see when you see him on the field how he speak with the players really, of course, they respect him. But as a sport director, if you have a great career, they will respect you maybe couple weeks, couple months, but then you have to deliver something. Deliver. If you don't deliver some performance, or you're not coming with something extra, it doesn't matter that you was a good player. You need to be a good how you say, mentor. You have to be a good psycholog with the players. So I think he's the guy who's doing this right now pretty good. So try to reach
So
him,
we
man.
get
I
him
don't
on.
know.
Yeah, we'll get it. We'll get them on. I will check my handy. I will text him, and I will tell him. Lucas, say that you should come on the show, and
Yeah,
I reckon.
probably he
I
don't
reckon
know
there will
me,
be no.
but
I reckon there will be no issue. But seriously,
yeah, probably he don't know me.
um, following up on my question, could you could you mention somebody from your personal experience that you feel,
Uh,
like when you say this guy is something, okay, this is something different. Uh, I like this guy.
Right now, if I have a lot of guys that I could propose to you in this position right now to be a sport director, I have few people. Most of my friends which I played became coaches. Became coaches more than sport directors. But I think Vlad, for example, Vlad, which I never shared the field together, the change room. We never played in the same team together. We were just opponent. And he is right now the sport director of the Federation of Romanian Football.
Hmm.
He is a guy
But club
which
and federation
I
is different.
also please.
Club and federation, it's it's still two different things. Let me
Yeah, it's
rephrase the
good.
question
Yeah, of
a
course.
bit better. Um, when you were playing, what were the sporting directors or one of them that stood out for you, that had a positive impact on you, and you really started to respect, where you feel like, oh wow, this guy is actually, he brings something extra to the club. I'm learning something new. um, this is maybe what I want to do one day myself.
Uh, there is no one. That's why
There's
maybe
no
I
one.
took a break from football. There is no one. I
Okay.
don't. That's why maybe I want to go back in the business and want to give something else. Because there was no one that give me that feeling. Like there were coaches that, but this is we came back to the thing what I said before. You asked me what would I change,
Hmm.
because the last generation or the people that I knew as a sport directors never searched the contact to the players like I would do. It's a huge thing. You have to be the only one who I can see a little bit he's doing this, and I know from inside it's like, okay, there are for sure more of them, but it was Maldini in Milan, and this is the thing that I liked, and you could really tell if you see him with the players how he was acting. He was so many times, there's so many pictures he's on the training ground. But in my career, I have to tell you honest, there were coaches that make me a mark that really helped me, and that, but this is normal because it's you work with them every day. But there is no one sport director which I can say, man, this guy was really amazing. This guy, I can tell now from friends that doing this kind of position, like Vlad Munteanu in the Federation of the Romanian League, that he is a guy that Romanian Federation, that he is a guy that try to change a little bit this kind of thing. But like you said, federation is completely different than football club. Like you have other obligation in the federation than in the football club. But honestly, I don't have no sport director in my career which I would say, man, this guy was really amazing. I want to be like them.
Speaking about high profiles, and of course you mentioned Maldini. There's one guy. He's not a sporting director. He's actually a coach. He's a big coach, but he's more or less, he's quite young as well, and he works very closely with the sporting director. And I don't know if you know yourself, but there's one guy you played with, and he was actually a bit younger than you. So I would like to hear your opinion about him. Is Julian Nagelsmann?
I know. I was sure you're gonna tell me.
I just found out on internet. I was before the podcast. I was doing a bit of research, and I scroll to transfer market, and I look, and I can't believe I see, like 1860 München, and I see Lukasz Szukala, and I see on the bench Julian Nagelsmann. So obviously the guy has a big career. He's like a modern coach, which is also like slash sporting director, is very involved with the recruitment and the management of players. Leadership is a big part of his portfolio as well. What are your experiences with him? It would be interesting. It's a bit off topic, but it would be interesting to yeah, if you can share your experiences with him. Did you see it
Yeah,
happening?
you know, like I did not see it happening, and it's not like when I said um, high profile players have a bigger chance. In general, I think yeah, high profile players and players that share the field on a certain level in their football career has a bigger chance to have a performance. That doesn't mean that other people cannot do it. Like there is like Nagelsmann, there's Rannick, even Mourinho. Mourinho became a coach without being a big player, but Mourinho shared the stage with huge coaches before became a good coach. The same with Nagelsmann. Nagelsmann was taken by Rannick to Hoffenheim, so he had also he had contact to high level managers already, so and also to high level clubs, because Hoffenheim, I remember he went, I think went to Hoffenheim when they was in third division, and because he couldn't make it as a player, or maybe he didn't feel like to become a player, so he started his coach career pretty fast in a pretty well club, in a growing club, Hoffenheim. But I share a little time the stage with him, because I was in the first team and he was in the second team, and many times when I wasn't playing in the first team, I had to play with the second team. But he was a really nice guy, quiet guy. I'm really happy for him that he made this amazing career. It shows him. It shows his work ethic. It shows his desire and his motivation for this sport. And he's a really modern guy, which is working really close with his team, and he's a very professional guy. So he make it without being a high level player, but when you look at his way, he was always under high level managers and in a big club, because Hoffenheim that period was growing like crazy. They came from fourth league to the Bundesliga in 3 4 years, and there was really high quality people like Raniek. They took the great players, Gustavo, Dembaba. So it was really, he was already in an environment which helps him to become what he's now.
As you know, in football, this is one of our. As we coming to almost to the end of our podcast. Um, when we sit with the players, or the many meals we shared in Ibiza, in Amsterdam, in Bucharest, there's always a good story. There's always remember this, and I should tell you about him, what happened. So normally I ask a sporting director, what's a funny, crazy story you can share with the audience? Is there like any crazy, funny story you can share with our viewers, that is something you can't forget? The conversation that always comes up even after 40 years of playing.
Wow, great question, man. Whoa, it's man, it's pretty hard to find the story now, and it's pretty hard to tell a story, maybe to not be punished by my friends. So
Any
it's
anything funny with a coach, or crazy story, or some whatever comes to mind, crazy story with some agent or sporting director, with negotiations,
wow.
um, something that you would like to share. Well, I know a couple, but this is not for that's not for public viewing. But for
Yeah, that's
sure,
why
as I know you,
I don't. There is not. This is not for public. Yeah, we had a lot of stories, even with you when we met. Ibiza or in Amsterdam, or you're visiting me here. But now from football, like I have to tell one story. It's pretty hard, man, and something funny. It doesn't come to my mind right now. Maybe give me a couple weeks, and we do another podcast. But in this
Couple of
moment, I
weeks.
really
So my final question, which I have to every guest, is normally with the sporting director, I ask who is the best goalkeeper you ever signed. Obviously, I have a background with goalkeeping. I'm very passionate about it. So my question would be, who is the best goalkeeper you ever played with, and why?
well, nice question as well. Yeah, I know you're a very good coach, goalkeeper coach, and you're doing some pretty good work in Australia. I'm waiting you to come to Europe. Maybe when I take charge of a club, so you're on my first list as a coach for the goalkeepers. Doesn't matter which coach I gonna install, but he has to work with you because I know you very well. You work really hard. Um, Actually,
Thank
I
you.
was really lucky because in my football career I had really good goalkeepers. This is really amazing with my guy here in Steaua Bucharest, Tatarashanu, who was he make a nice career. He's now still in AC Milano. With Szczesniak in the national team, which is one of the best goalkeepers in the world right now.
Where does he play?
No, who I can
No,
hear
no,
it's
no,
it's
no.
Anterapi.
I said Chesney. I never heard of him. Where does he
Yeah,
play?
yeah. Then Church. Yeah, he played in some village in Italy.
Okay, okay.
I think in the Toscana.
No, continue. Toscana, yeah.
No, he's yeah,
Continue.
he's yeah, like I say, Tatarushan, Szczesniak, Fabianski, Boruk, even Artur Moraes, who played for Benfica. I played with him 1 year in Osmalinspor. So they like a lot of amazing personality and great goalkeepers, So they had like I was really lucky to have really good goalkeepers in my career. Uh, if you look by name and by success right now, yeah, Szczesniak is the guy. For me, it's I think one of the best goalkeepers in the world right now. But also Fabianski was an amazing goalkeeper. Boruk, he has an amazing career, which he's a legend in Celtic Glasgow. So as well like Tatarashano. So I cannot choose one. I was really lucky to have always a good goalkeeper in my back because it's also important for me as a central defender to have somebody I can trust. And this was also amazing for me to share this stage with this kind of goalkeepers.
Thank you very much today, Lucas. I appreciate your time. I'm very thankful that we can have somebody on the show with your background, with your CV, with your career, which is an absolute honor. Um, Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for the good times we spent over the last, what is it, 15 years almost. We're getting old. So I hope
Yeah,
we
we're getting
can
old, man.
continue our conversation. We can continue our conversation and next podcast in person. Um, if I'm allowed to visit your new venue soon, and I would like to thank you for yeah for joining me here on the Director of Football show, and I would hope to speak to you soon again. Thanks a lot.
Same. Thank you very much to be a part of the show. I wish you all the best for the future. Keep doing the good stuff you're doing on the field as a goalkeeper coach. Now with the podcast, like I said, it's my first podcast. Usually I don't like this kind of things, but for you I cannot refuse you, you have this power to convince me pretty fast. So when you wrote me it was pretty fast. I said yes. So thank you very much and good luck for the future.
Shukran, teşekkürler, danke dir, merci beaucoup.
Shukran. Thanks. Dziękuję bardzo.